You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, I'm recording live here in Houston, Texas, which is my hometown. I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in Houston. I'm a H-Town. Okay, I'm a H-Town baby. But I'm happy. I'm so happy to be back. I'm staying 2 weeks right here in Texas, out of Philadelphia for now. The plan is that I'm going to be here from the 16th of December to the 30th of December. It's become a routine pattern. We always spend Thanksgiving with Mr. Johnson's family, and they live in Trenton, so it always made sense traveling wise that it didn't make sense for me to take a whole plane down to Texas for only a couple of days. So we would do Thanksgiving with my in-laws, and then we would do Christmas with my family and spend some real extended time down south. And then I would always do New Year's Eve and bringing the New Year back in Philly away from both of our parents so we could really just do our grown thing. So that has always been the plan and the schedule and everything. So we're following that tradition this year as well. So when I got here to Houston, the first thing I did was went to Whataburger, because that is what quality looks like, you all. When you all talk about fast food burger joints, you all are talking about that Shake Shack, which is so overrated. Those little nasty smashed patties, which I just think is cheap. Like getting a patty and smashing it to the crisp like that, that's cheap. And you know, because it's so flat, you have to get a double to actually make it taste like something. And it's super well done. I'm not crazy about it. Whataburger, on the other hand, that's a meal. That's an affordable, reasonable portion size. And they give you the option of fries or onion rings, which I always get onion rings because onion rings are better than fries, in my opinion. I love onion rings down. I like a really good onion ring. And the thing is, I love a good southern onion ring where it's got a nice little light batter. They fry it and it's cute. Some of these places that do onion rings, you know, especially on the East Coast, they love to use that hard breading that like fuck up the roof of your mouth, where it's so much breading that when you try to eat it, it's so hard that it messes up the roof. And it gives me the sensation of Captain Crunch. Remember Captain Crunch cereal? Do people still eat cereal? Maybe they do. I don't eat cereal that much anymore. But I remember Captain Crunch, where you would eat that and it was so good. It tastes so good. But it would just like mess up the roof of your mouth because it was like the little crisp, the little wheats or little strands would just fuck up and cut it. Anyway, I just hate some of these onion rings. They're like super battered. Like I just like a nice traditional light breading, put it in the fryer, make sure it has a nice crunchiness to it, and it will be phenomenal. Like that with a good Whataburger with cheese, solid. Straight solid. In-N-Out burger, overrated. Now Five Guys, I'll give Five Guys some credit. Five Guys is definitely top tier. But outside of Five Guys, y'all can have Shake Shack. Y'all can have that nasty In-N-Out burger. Y'all can have the other little corny little burger spots that pop up. To me, the East Coast got Five Guys. Five Guys is pretty good. That's a real burger right there. Okay? That's a real burger. I mean, the toppings, the choices of toppings are great. The only thing that and also too, pro tip, if you're somebody who does not want to get overstuffed, just get the little cheeseburger. The little cheeseburger is a regular cheeseburger, y'all. What a cheeseburger should be. That double cheeseburger, that big old Five Guy burger they have, that is ridiculous. That's just, whew, that's a lot. But I do enjoy a Five Guys burger, actually. The thing I'll say about Five Guys, though, with those fries, get the little fries, get the little burger, okay? Those are reasonably portioned things. When you start getting the jumbo or the double, that's when you start having problems, okay? Get the little burger. There's nothing little about the little cheeseburger at Five Guys. What I will give them credit to, first of all, I give you a lot of fries. So don't even get too many fries. So many fries that it falls. They got so many fries, they put fries in cups. That's how much fries they have. Be super hot. I can only eat Five Guys on location. I feel like if you try to get Five Guys to go, like delivery, it does not transfer well. It just does not. Now, Whataburger does. Whataburger absolutely do. Like that is, ooh, so good. That was the first thing I ate when I got out. I wanted to get Taco Cabana. Um, Mr. Johnson loves some good Tex-Mex. And I saw Craig Laban from the Inquirer, the food critic. He was in Houston and went to Memphis. And, I was like, okay, Craig, with the good taste. It's funny how he finds the good gems. He went to Memphis. I thought he was going to still be in town so I can catch him, but he left right before I got in town. So I was like, see, not you coming in and rolling out. But he went to Memphis and had some good Tex-Mex. But he really loved H-Town, he said. And where else I wonder if he should have went to Ray's Barbecue. Fun fact, if you ever been to Ray's Barbecue, Jamarcus, my bestie, used to work there back in the day. Okay, Ray's Barbecue, that's a spot. They have one at the airport in Houston, but it's not as good as the original location. If you're really interested in some good barbecue, okay? But I am looking forward to eating my way through here. It's like you could do two things in Houston. You could either just love the chain restaurants they have. Like Houston is filled with a bunch of good old chain restaurants that are either local or even somewhat semi-national. And then they also have, of course, their restaurant scene that is broken down into like really great mom and pop shops, the big, adventurous restaurants that they try to do, the big expansion ones. You got glorified chains is what I call them. Like you could come to Houston several times and pick out what type of aspect of the food scene you want to do. And I'll give credit to Philly. Philly has a really great food scene too, but Houston is, to me, the culinary capital of the South. Like it is. And I'm happy that we're leaning into that because people try to act like Atlanta is. Child, Atlanta ain't nothing but a bunch of Waffle houses and wannabe Southern comfort restaurants and bars, baby. They don't really have much going on in Atlanta outside of that. And a couple of gentrified spots. But Atlanta ain't nothing but a bunch of glorified, Waffle houses and wannabe Southern cooking spots. Okay, that's it. They ain't got it. Now, someone will say, well, what about Louisiana, New Orleans? Well, yes, they have some great Cajun food. It's a really great, cute food destination. The problem is there's not enough versatility in the cuisine to call it a culinary capital, but it is a landmark. It is a culinary landmark because they have a specific type of food that is authentic, original, and creative. But to be a culinary capital, you have to have a full range of various cuisines that are remarkable. So if you don't know this about Houston, let me educate you on our cuisine. So we have a Cajun seafood situation because we had a lot of people who had to evacuate New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina, and they made their pilgrimage here in Houston, and they basically never left, and they brought those spices and those original ideas and all of that great talent here to Houston. And so there is a strong Cajun scene here. We have an incredible seafood scene here. I mean, we're on the Gulf of Mexico. We got all that going on. You got Galveston. We have a really great seafood scene in Houston. We have an incredible barbecue situation. The barbecue is legendary here. We have great soul food. I mean, like the soul food is great here, of course, because this is a city that's Black. We got great Mexican food, okay? You cannot, like the Mexican food, the Tex-Mex is ridiculous. We have a strong Vietnamese population. We have some really great Asian cuisine, some really great Vietnamese food in Houston. There's a whole scene, okay? Don't sleep on the Vietnamese food in Houston. But let's shout out to the Nigerians. Great Nigerian food. We have a strong, heavy Nigerian population in Houston. I don't know one Nigerian in America that don't have somebody's family in H-Town. Great Nigerian food. Don't sleep on it. So, I mean, with all of those options, you can't deny Houston. It is the culinary capital of the South. And that's period.
I think Philadelphia is definitely. I personally think that Philadelphia is the culinary capital of the East Coast. I know y'all want to act like New York is that girl, but New York isn't. New York is a bunch of bodegas and over the top, restaurants for Wall Street people and gentrifiers. It's bodega food and food that is $1,000 a plate. Like that's all New York is giving. I'm here with the slander. Yeah, I said it. Okay, Baltimore is cute, but all you can get in Baltimore is some good seafood. Baltimore got seafood. Okay, that's what they got. DC brunch, baby. That's all y'all got going for y'all was y'all brunch. Oh, and y'all little chili bowls. I'm here with the slander. Yes, I am. Boston. What about her? What New England clam chowder? But isn't that in Maine? Like what? No. Who else? Who else wants some on the East Coast? What is Maryland? Oh, DC. It's like no. Philadelphia is the culinary capital of the East Coast, okay? Of the East. Philadelphia has incredible Italian food. Philadelphia has, look, we got all the junk food. We got the hoagies, the cheesesteaks, the soft pretzels, the water ice. Like we do that. Like we do good junk food, okay? We got what else we got? We got great Italian food. I said that already. Let's not even talk about our Thai scene. We got lovely, incredible Thai food. We got a real good Indian food scene. The Indian buffets here, baby. Let's talk about the BYOB scene in Philly. Don't sleep on her. Don't sleep on that. West Philly got Ethiopian food on lock. We got a whole Ethiopian cuisine scene that sometimes get ignored. We got James Beard Award winning restaurants up and down. Okay. Like we got great elevated cuisine. We got the real fancy places. We got the steakhouses for the basics. We don't really do chains. We don't really do chains in Philly because we really love original homegrown based food. Yes. We got vegan food that is good vegan food. How many people can boast about Hip City Veg? We gonna ignore Steven Starr? We gonna ignore Jose Garza's. We're going to ignore Michael Schulston. While Atlas takes over all of Baltimore, baby, we got a bunch of different places and chains and restaurant owners that's doing the damn thing. Are we playing? Like, what are we doing? Like, Philadelphia is the culinary capital of the East. Period. So, I went on a little tirade. I may have hurt some of y'all city's feelings, but it is what it is. It's time to put it on the floor. It's time to say facts. I already know I'm about to get some New York people that's gonna be in their feelings. It is what it is. In DC, whatever DC, y'all know what y'all doing. Okay, what founding farmers, baby, bye. Okay, y'all have cute little brunches. And to be honest, I feel like the brunches in DC are overrated. Yeah, I said it. After spending many times in Foggy Bottom, I just feel like the brunches in DC are overrated. Who the fuck dresses up over the top to go eat some eggs and some waffles? Sit down, DC. Sit down. Like, first of all, is it hard to make a good breakfast? Or is that just a Southern charm in me just being judgmental? Like, okay, y'all over here drinking $20 mimosas and y'all flexing. Ooh. I've just had enough. I've had enough. It's just time to just call it out. Enough. Philadelphia is the culinary capital of the East. And Houston is the culinary capital of the South. Period. Debate your cat. I'm done. But anyway, I love Houston. I cannot wait to go to some great restaurants and catch up with some people. I'm super excited. Portia, I'm here. I'm here in Houston. Let's grab lunch. She's a great fan of the show. So, I'm just sending, love signals through the podcast, that I'm in town. Okay. I'm in town. So this past week, tons of holiday parties. The PABJ holiday party was at the Delaware River river. I think it's called the river rink. The river rink. We were out there. We didn't do any ice skating. It was too cold. Plus liability. There was a Ferris wheel. We were inside. We had a beautiful holiday decorated space. Lots of good food. Shout out to the caterers that were on site. We used them except Chicken Pete's. We used this other place that had barbecue. It was a cute little barbecue situation. We had some churros and stuff. It was a great time. Food was really good. Also, did another holiday party. I did the Philly Mag holiday party, which was at the Deacon. We had 12th Street Catering, which 12th Street Catering, man, they cannot miss. I was there with Mr. Johnson and my good Judy Amanda. We had a really good time. There was this hot cocoa situation they had with a cookie. I don't know what that was, but that was fire. Okay, I'm still thinking about that. It was a lot. It was a very good creamy hot chocolate. It tastes like a melted chocolate bar in a cup. Like they took a Dove chocolate bar and melted it down and made it this nice creamy hot chocolate. I don't know what it was, but it was good. So that holiday party was lit. Then there was the Philly Mag Most Influential Event, which was at the Fiddler Club. Sherelle Parker, Mayor-elect Sherelle Parker, made her appearance, and she spoke and she slayed. And it was just great to be amongst so many influential people in the city. Shout out to so many folks. I mean, my mentee Jamil Q. Duncan, who's on the list at 19 years old. I think he's the youngest person ever to be on the most influential list. But he was there, and I was so proud of him. It was a good event, and Fiddler Club is just, Fiddler Club. I'm happy the event was nice there. I'll say the event was nice there. I'll say that. There was a party downstairs for the Black doctors, and that party was really lit. This was a separate event, and I thought I was going to see Dr. Ayla Stanford there. She's been promoting her new book, with her first book ever, her debut book, which you all can now pre-order now. Shout out to Dr. Ayla Stanford. I was a big fan. I'm a huge fan of her. She went to my book signing in Martha's Vineyard, and she was crucial. Like, when I remember I first did this podcast, I talked a lot about her and the work she was doing when vaccinations was first happening, and we were telling people to get vaccinations. And now she's about to release her book that's coming out August of next year. It's through Simon and Schuster. It's called Take Care of Them Like My Own: Faith, Fortitude, and a Surgeon's Fight for Health Justice. Now, you all know Dr. Ayla Stanford is the founder of the Black Doctors COVID Consortium, which really was addressing the racial injustices in our healthcare system. And, they're still going strong. The book is coming out August 6, 2024, but she's already allowing pre-sales. So you can now pre-order the book right now. Support my fave, Dr. Ayla Stanford, of course. It will be a great book, and I know the summer run is about to be wild. And I'll be at the Vineyard next summer, so I imagine she'll do something there, hopefully. But she's just everything. Love her to death, and I cannot wait for this book, as well. So yeah, she had her. There was a Black Doctors event there. She wasn't there that night, but it was other folks that were there. Of course, Miss Patty Jackson, my fave, a couple other great people, and it was a good time. Restaurants I went to Bar Leisure, which is the new restaurant by Michael Scholston, who has a lot of great restaurants. He has, what are some highlights? He has Pearl and Mary. He has Double Knot, Sand Pan, Independence Beer Garden. He has Alpen Rose. He has Harp and Crown, Giuseppe and Sons. Yeah, Michael Scholston is like a beast in the restaurant game. Like, a lot of people always talk about, Steven Starr, Jose Garza's, which they're bosses as well. But we forget about Scholston. Scholston got some hits too. Like, our city has a lot of major restauranteurs. We can't play with Ellen Yin either. Don't forget about Ellen Yin. Okay, the High Street Hospitality. They don't. I mean, she won the James Beard for restaurateur in America. Listen. High Street Hospitality, don't miss. You got Fork, you got A Kitchen, you have A Bar, you have High Street, you have High Street Hoagies. They lit. They're very lit. That they got a good bakery program that's like phenomenal. But yes, so I went to Bar Leisure. Now, this is a French restaurant. It's over there where everything is at. Translation, it's around 15th and Sansom. Now, that's the area where you have Mission Taqueria, you have Oyster Bar, you have Giuseppe and Sons, Harp and Crown. It is in that strip. And it's fairly brand new. I got a chance to go with my good Judy Kelly, Frank, and we had a really great dinner there. It was really great French cuisine, contemporary. What were some of the highlights? Everything they had that was seafood was great. Everything there was good. I mean, everything was really good, but the standout to me was the seafood. The seafood dishes were huge standouts to me. I had the duck, which I liked. But the seafood was I just keep thinking about all the seafood we had. Um, they had shrimp, they had a chilled shrimp salad, or was that chilled lobster salad? They had a shrimp toast. There were just so many dishes that were really good, that I highly recommend. I had like a monkfish, I think I had. That was good. Yeah, all the seafood was really good. The cocktails were good, classics, solid classics. Something for everybody. Really loved it. The Lip Brothers. Oh, so the gift that Kelly gave me, which is the shirt that you all saw, was the Yuki Washington shirt. That was custom made. That's not for sale. You can't get that anywhere else. It was a cute custom made gift. It was at so the background is that inside CBS3, they had a local Philadelphia artist that redesigned the entire studio and the entire site. So it's this nice look. It's not graffiti, but it looks something like that kind of artwork. And it's really pretty. Their colors is green. Like they got that Kelly Green energy. It's a part of their whole rebrand, which is that they're telling stories from the heart. It's all about community and family, and they're not focusing on the crime beat, eyewitness news. They're going in like, okay, they're going to still do hard news reporting, but they're not obsessed with crime reporting and that kind of content. They're really interested in telling more impactful stories, and the rebrand has been great. And I mean, they just won the Emmy for outstanding, general news team or whatnot recently at the regional Emmys, the Mid Atlantic Emmys, which I'm a proud board of governor member. So I'm loving what they're doing. But the rebrand happened, and a part of that rebrand was the image of Yuki Washington, who's a legendary anchor that's been there. One of my mentors, one of the people I look up to in the business. And I love that image so much that I was like, wow, I would love to take that with me. And Kelly heard that, and she got a shirt design with that exact logo, the image from it. And now I have a t-shirt where I can forever, wear my hero. So such a thoughtful gift and everything. I loved it. Really also, speaking of gifts, I gave the Lip Brothers something that is classic. It's for us. No one else can get it. It is like, fraternity gear. But a Lip Brothers calendar. It was something that was an idea from a fan, which I gave the fan one because it was an idea. They kept saying, y'all should do a calendar. Y'all should do a calendar. I was like, okay. But I found a good calendar maker and was able to make this happen. And shout out to them. They know who they are. And I mailed them one because I was like, you should, thank you for that. I love good ideas. And that was just the idea that was like, at first I was kind of like, but then as time progressed, I was like, what do I want to give for Christmas? Like, what should we do? And the calendar concept kept coming. And she actually came, she came to a book signing, one of the early book signings in the stop. This was actually at the University of Pennsylvania bookstore. This was the first public book signing I had. And she came with a mock-up calendar. Like, she put pictures together and she literally came with this. And I was like, oh, you are serious. You're committed. Like, I love this. And so I that stuck with me for a long period of time. Like, I just could not stop thinking about it ever since then. And then finally got in touch with someone who designed calendars, and it worked out. And so now we have a Lip Brothers calendar. It's something fun. It's for us. I mean, a lot of people have seen it and like, I want one. I want to get one. I'm just like, maybe, who knows? Maybe 2025. Maybe we'll put them out there. But it was definitely a very memorable thing. And there's gonna be some Lip Brothers events and things coming in 2024. That's all I can say. I can't say anything more. But there are going to be more of us and more of you all experiencing us in an actual interactive way in the weeks and months to come. So stay tuned for that. But we had our final like group dinner. Um, I don't want to say final group dinner because we're gonna do something else before New Year's. But one of the last like restaurant stops we made this year was at Pizzeria Salvi, which is owned by Mark Vetri. We had the pleasure of meeting Mark Vetri. He was there when we were there, and you took a picture with him. So if you all saw that, it was great. It's a lovely pizza spot, and there's pizza is on the rise in Philly. I feel like people are starting to really perfect their pizza. You got Angelo's, of course, Pizzeria Badia, which is almost like the godfather of pizza in Philly. But pizzeria, there's also Pizzeria Vetri. But this Pizzeria Salvi, oh my God, the pizza there is phenomenal. I love the style. It's that thin crust, that real good flat, top it off with the big crust, that Neapolitan type of pizza, very Italy. I thought that we were going to struggle to eat all of it, but it's not that heavy doughiness. Oh, it was good. It was good with some wine and some cocktails. All their little bites are great. Their salads, their meatballs. And so this restaurant is named after his beloved father, who just recently passed away around Thanksgiving time. Sal is his name. And he was a great chef that inspired a living legend, which is Mark Vetri. Mark Vetri, for all of his antics and his buzz and all his outspokenness, he is one of the best restaurant owners in Philadelphia. He is one of the best chefs that the region has. And you can, put some respect on his name. This man is when I think of Philly and I think of restaurants and I think of Italian, I think of Vetri, like Filarillo pasta, Vetri Cucina. Like these are iconic restaurants that really, like for the past, nearly 25 years, has laid the foundation for looking at Philadelphia as a world-class culinary destination. So I just, all of my respects to him. His father passed away during Thanksgiving, and the restaurant was named after him, and there's photos all throughout the restaurant. So where it's located, because people's been asking me where is it at? It's in the Comcast Technology Center. You take the escalator down underground, and it's in the underground. So when you go to technology, you always see Vernick Fish on the side, and you always see upstairs is Vernick Coffee Bar. But underground, there is an entire restaurant by Vetri, and that is Pizzeria Salvi. So make sure you check it out. You can make reservations. You can go in. It's not just for Comcast employees. People have thought that, but no, it's not. And also, Vernick Coffee Bar is not either. That's one of the best places you can eat lunch at in Philadelphia. So don't even play with it. That's actually my favorite lunch spot, actually. Like if anyone ever asks me, where do you want to go for lunch, and they want to take me out to lunch, take me to Vernick Coffee Bar, and I will, love it forever. That is like my ideal spot. Like if I can go anywhere for lunch in the city, it will be Vernick Coffee Bar. So yeah. But no, there's a lot of great places. I'm super excited and everything. Two other things. So earlier you all saw that I had talked about Sarah McLachlan's Fumbling Towards Ecstasy tour. She's going to be at the Man on June 26th. My body is ready. My mind is ready. I love Sarah McLachlan, as you all know. I've dropped subtle hints over the years, but she's just a beast. And there's just no comparison. I mean, she is a legend. And so I cannot wait to see her perform. She's performing on Wednesday, June 26th at the Man. And I got VIP tickets with my good Judy Kelly Mirbot. We got the full soundstage, VIP package. We got premium seats. We on the first rows. We got autographed memorabilia. We in the lounge with the cocktails. I went all the way in, okay? I went all the way in for Miss McLachlan, okay? I always told myself, I got a chance to see her at Parks Casino a couple years ago. She came through and did a little performance there, but that wasn't the full experience. And I always said I wanted to see her live again, but I really wanted to do it up. And so she's performing this whole album, which is going to be celebrating its 30th anniversary next year. That album was one of my all-time favorite albums of all time, Fumbling Towards Ecstasy. It's a great fucking album. I just actually listened to it like 2 times in a row a day ago, and it just hits. All the songs, they just speak to an era in my life that was in like in my growing phase and trying to navigate the world. I love that album. And she's also going to be performing some of her other classics, which I can't wait to stand out. But yes, I am super excited. I am a Sarah McLachlan stan. I'm into her music. Every time she drops us, she doesn't do as much music as much, but listen, when I saw she was coming, I was like, I'm in there. I'm getting everything because this might be the last, North American tour she do for us. She's haven't done as many tours, and I was when the last time she dropped an album, it was like 2014. But I don't really think she really did much of a tour. She didn't stop in Philly, but she is coming, and my body is ready, and I will be there all in. Okay. So just putting that out there. And last but not least, shout out to all of you all for Native Son 101. Okay. I was on the Native Son 101 list. Native Son it's hard to describe them. They're like, I want to say they're not like a publication. Like they're a Black queer community hub, I guess I would say. They are a digital community. Like they recognize Black queer men specifically around the world, in achievements and excellence and like all the great things that make us great. And they have a really great, fun social media page. It's Native Son Now is their Instagram page. And they just profile like incredible Black queer people, specifically queer men, at all levels. So like anytime they see instances of Black queer male joy, whether it's marriages, couples, things like of that nature, they celebrate it. So celebrities, personalities, like they have a cute community. And so for a while, they've always like found a way to celebrate me. Like I guess I'm one of their like celebrities. But like they like highlighted my wedding on there. When I went to the Renaissance tour, they included me, but they've always been cool. So they have this yearly list of their 101, like the Native Son 101, like it's supposed to rhyme, but they're 101 like influential, like Black queer men around the world. And I was one of them. So that was touching and a surprise. Like I didn't even know, like someone tagged me and I was like, oh shit, what? Me? Okay. Like I didn't even know they were seeing me like that, but that felt good. And it's always just feels good to be loved by your own. So I'm just, yeah, I was verklempt. So yeah. But into hot topics, because there's been some stuff that's been going on and y'all been seeing me. I've been very, very perplexed by some of the behavior happening in DC and Harrisburg and even in Philly politically. And I have so many things to say. I'm not talking about Trump today, this episode. I just can give a fuck about Trump right now because honestly, the Republicans are going to show their ass and going to do what they're going to do. This episode is going to be about what the fuck is wrong with Democrats. Because the Democrats, for whatever reason, chose to show their ass. They've been fucking up for a little bit. For a while now. Let's be clear. This ain't new. But for whatever reason, the last couple of weeks, there's just been some what the fuck moments that has had me go, what are y'all doing? And at this point, I have conspiracy theories. I'm not entertaining them on this show. I try to root my things based off of facts and information, but there's some weird shit going on and the shit is looking hella sus. And as my girls say on the Zeus network, it's looking weird. It's giving weird. Something's happening. So I'm going to start with, first of all, this random thing, but I just cannot help myself as a gay man. What the fuck was going on in the Senate hearing room? Why are people getting their backs blown out? What is the alleged top? Who is the alleged top? Why is this boy getting dick down in the Senate hearing room? Why is there a sex tape out? Why is this man working for a Democrat? Why would someone fuck in the Senate room? What the fuck is going on? So if you have been living under a rock, you may have not known this. There has been this ridiculous scandal that is becoming hard to ignore at this point. The Senate aide has been fired. Okay, let me be very clear. So this has been reported by CNN and other credible media outlets. But basically, this Senate staffer is out of a job because there has been a conservative outlet. This is the Daily Caller, which the Daily Caller and these conservative blogs, let me just mention, they have been really big on outing people and exposing people. There was a situation with the Republican mayor in that small town that committed suicide after they released footage and images of him and revealing that he did drag. But the reality is that the Daily Caller had reported that the staffer worked for the Democratic Senator Ben Cardin's office. Now, they reached out to the office and got a statement. Basically, there was a statement by the individual, Aiden Macy Serposky. I'm mispronouncing his name probably. But he said in the statement, "This has been a very difficult time for me, as I have been attacked for whom I love to pursue a political agenda. While some of my actions in the past have shown poor judgment, I love my job and would never disrespect my workplace. I will be exploring what legal options are available to me in these matters." Cardin's office released a statement announcing that he was no longer employed by the U.S. Senate. There has been people that reached out to the individual and they did not get a comment. But the video shows two men having sex in the Senate hearing room. There's been images that's been all over the internet. I mean, it's graphic, y'all. It's a mess. This young man's statement, I mean, to be honest, nobody cares that you're gay. The problem is that you decided to do what you do in the Senate hearing room. And why is there cameras? Why is this being filmed? Why is this being filmed? Why are you ass naked? I don't understand. Why is this happening? If it's not you, say it's not you, but why are you fired? Why are you no longer there? Child, this is fucking embarrassing. It's unacceptable. It's so fucking disrespectful. It's stupid. And honestly, it's not a political issue. It's just an embarrassing issue. Like, honestly, I just don't understand. Yeah, I'm not feeling this. It's just despicable. And that, to be honest, the staffer, dude, with everything going on in this current election cycle, why are you creating more opportunities? Like, what is wrong? What is wrong? What is wrong with people? No one cares about who you love. This is not because you're gay. Baby, I'm gay. No one cares. This is the fact that you decided that you wanted to bend over and do it like this in a Senate room. You do not have to do a doggy style in a damn Senate room. Like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You could have went to, let me be, listen, I've been in the congressional buildings. There are plenty of places to do it at, and it's not in the Senate room. You could have did the little tap that the Republicans do in the bathrooms, and one of them little DC bathrooms, the little tap thing, the signal and all that. You could have did it in one of them bathrooms. There are offices. Where did Bill Clinton go? You could have found a private chamber room that's in the comfort and privacy somewhere. Why would you? Let me be respectful. I just don't understand. I don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And if for those who are confused, yes, he is white. I don't think I mean, he's white. Just in case people was confused. And I say that because no. But I thought I was to get even more disappointed. Before y'all go with the, what about Fetterman, Ernest? You gonna talk about Fetterman? Hell yeah, I'm disappointed with Fetterman. Hell yeah, what the hell is he talking about? Listen, I didn't believe he had a clone, but now I feel like he might have been cloned. They done cloned Fetterman. I don't think they cloned Tyrone, but they may have cloned Fetterman. Clearly, something is going on over there in that damn office. I don't know. But it's weird and it's a lot. And I'm not talking about his pro-Israel stances. The research was there. He can have, whatever. This is not about him being pro-Israel. This is about the fact that he's now denying that he is a progressive. You all heard the episode last year. You could go back and listen to it. It was a special edition of Ernestly Speaking. We did this. This was season This was season 2. No, no, no. Was it 3? I think it was season 2. Season 2, because 2, 4. Well, this is 5, 4, 3. Yes, season 2. Because this was a season 2 um special edition episode during the primaries. I interviewed Fetterman. That man was not on there talking about denying progressive views. We talked about clemency, about him releasing a lot of innocent, black people who were incarcerated. We talked about his stances on other issues. I mean, this man hung pride flags outside of his office. Like, are we denying that now? Like, what are we doing? Because you're definitely not a moderate. Or at least you weren't. I don't know what the hell is going on. Talk about a 180, though. Talk about a switch up. And he's been telling people he's not a progressive, he's been saying in interviews, even though the receipts are there. There are tweets. But I don't even need to look at the tweets. I would just tell you how to go back and listen to the special edition episode I did with him, where it was obvious that there were 2 progressives on that phone. And that was me and him in that interview talking. So I don't know what this is he's doing. I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't know. But I don't know who this Fetterman is. And they were trying to say it could be 2 Fettermans. I'm not saying he's really clone. Let me just be clear. I'm being sarcastic about the clone. But come on. I just, I don't like it. I don't like it. Speaking of which, I hope y'all been following, but there's now, because of this conversations around censorship, the war on DEI is happening. There was Ohio schools, I believe, colleges that are publicly funded from the state have now been mandated to kill their DEI offices. That is now a thing. DEI offices across certain state legislators, they are now killing DEI programs in state-funded institutions. Now, if you privately funded, you can do what the hell you want. But public-funded, programs, DEI is starting to get cut. People are starting to cut DEI. This is the grand white lash that we was wondering what was going to happen. That grand white lash that happened since the 2020 racial uprisings. It was bound to happen, but who would have thought it was going to happen at this level? And so to see so many people beginning to eliminate diversity, equity, inclusion, this is the modern day, Jim Crow. Like, now they're saying it in a different way. And they're not going to say, oh, we don't support diversity. Oh, I'm sorry. They are, right? Because you're killing DEI programs, which means you're essentially trying to fight back. See, we knew that the war was initially affirmative action, right? So that got gutted. But now they're like, okay, DEI, why are we having DEI? Like, they're going further and further down the rabbit hole, and we knew this was coming. It's sad because I'm thinking about, my younger brother who's about to be in high school next year. What is it going to look like for him when he applies for college? I mean, he probably going to be a Nepo baby because of me, but I'm thinking about other people who don't have connected family and don't have others. First generation Black and brown students who are applying to college. I don't know what is it giving? I don't. And it's really messed up, but it's really a moment where are the profiles and courage? What are these Democrats are going to do? Because it seems like they're just acquiescing at this point. But I'm curious to see, what are these other elected officials going to do? How are these conversations going to take place? What's going to happen next? It is becoming very concerning. Just going to leave that there. It's becoming very concerning. So, City Council this week is the end of an era. I did the finale of Philadelphia City Council Live on, 90
96.1 FM, 900 AM, Progressive Black Talk Media, WRD Radio. We had the season finale of City Council Live this year, with the final session, which was Daryl Clark, Council President Daryl Clark. He is now former Council President Daryl Clark by the time we get to December 31st. But the last City Council session happened under his leadership. He's leaving. Of course, we also know that Sharon Vaughn is leaving as well. She's going off to work for Senator Sharif Street. Daryl Clark, we'll figure out what he's doing next. He might just retire and enjoy his pension, live his best life, and go enjoy his house and live his best life. I don't know what he plans to do next exactly, but he's had a long political career. So, to be honest, he's been in council for over 20 years. Council president for 12 of those years. He's in his 70s. He doesn't have to necessarily, he could just chill. He's worked a long time. He's going to get paid over $100,000 a year for the rest of his life because of his pension. He is set. He is going to be set. He's going to have 6 figures guaranteed for the rest of his life. And here's the thing. He's not, he's, for years of service, must be nice. There is a new council president coming. It is going to be Kenyatta Johnson. What an interesting reversal of fortune for this guy. Talk about one moment worried about, your life, your entire political career in your life, to now being in a seat like council president. Like that is something. So he's there. He's gracious. We'll see how it plays out. As you all know, that on Tuesday, January 2nd, will be the inauguration at the Met. I will be live broadcasting for WRD Radio. So if you are, part of you want to listen to it or watch the inauguration, which will be airing on television. And of course, if you're driving, you can hear it on WRD Radio. We will be live broadcasting the inauguration of the 100th mayor of Philadelphia, which will be Sherelle Parker. It's going to be epic. It's going to be a big damn deal. And so I look forward to hearing from you all about it. I'm super excited about the inauguration. This is going to be a historical one, of course. And we'll see what happens. But speaking of what happens, there was something that also took place during the grand finale. There was a special guest on the season finale of Philadelphia City Council Live. Who would ever thought that the grand finale that I would be interviewing none other than District Attorney Larry Krasner. I interviewed Larry Krasner. I did. Who would have thought? I've never interviewed him before, actually. I've sent, questions to his offices and things, but he's an interesting guy. You all saw the photo. So I interviewed him WRD, my younger brother who was finishing his last day as an intern at City Council, which was so nice. He had a lovely internship. He did it for a whole year, well, for the summer and the fall. It was a great time. He wrapped up his internship, but he's a fan. He's a fan. So I took a picture of him with Krasner. But he was there. I interviewed Krasner, and what we were talking about, and this is what brings me into my other gripe with the Democrats. He talked about a Senate bill called Senate Bill 140. And basically it was a part of the budget deal. So this week, the Republicans and Democrats in Harrisburg had officially agreed upon their budget. Like they said, look, the budget, they had to negotiate different types of deals, compromises, all that bullshit. Well, one of the deals that got struck to moving the budget along was this bill that got passed by some supportive Democrats in the House and in the Senate, because it was a bipartisan effort, let's be very clear. And this bipartisan effort basically was that the district attorney of Philadelphia cannot preside over any SEPTA crimes. So if there are any crimes that happen related to SEPTA, anything that happens at the SEPTA station or near the SEPTA station, any of those types of crimes near SEPTA stations or on SEPTA, the district attorney cannot prosecute those crimes. So there will be a special prosecutor that would do it. And this might sound like, huh? What the fuck? What are you talking about, Ernest? What do you mean he can't prosecute? Why would they do that? What would they do? Yeah. So let me explain this. Because this is very messy. And a lot of people are pissed off about it because they called this a bipartisan effort, but there's a lot of mess that happened in this. So first of all, this budget deal was really messy. So for now, a state attorney general will now be able to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate crimes on SEPTA. Now, this was reported by the Philadelphia Inquirer and other local outlets. They said that this move is a big deal because Senate Republicans have been trying to impeach Krasner for a minute, okay? And they've tried to find ways to circumvent his office to enforce laws in the city. Now, this was passed by 159 to 44 in the House. Almond Brown, boo, Pat Gallagher, and Ed Nilsen, which y'all remember as Special Ed Nilsen, who used to win special elections. Remember he was at City Council, Ed Nilsen was? Fun fact, one of my besties, Abel, who was Mr. Johnson's best man in our wedding, who was my college roommate at Penn, he was an intern for Ed Nilsen when he was at City Council. When Ed Nilsen was at City Council, I believe at large, he had a special election and he won. And then he won a special election to be state rep. So they used to always call him Special Ed Nilsen because he always won special elections. Interesting. Special Ed, interesting. So they were the Democrats that supported in the House. But the Senate basically asked. So this is what they've asked for. They wanted this. And there was a budget deal. Now, there was a press conference on Thursday. And before the press conference, Larry Krasner went on my show. He says that this decision is unconstitutional. He says that this is something that strips away voters' rights in Philadelphia. This man was duly elected, 2 times elected, and duly elected to become the district attorney. And when we mean duly elected, this means he won a primary and he won a general election. So when they say duly elected, that means that he was elected by his party, then he was elected by the general public. And this happened twice. Krasner's been elected twice. Okay? Twice. And so the fact that he has been duly elected and he has the full powers, and now there is a law that is now stifling and restricting what crimes he prosecutes in his own county. And mind you, this is not a policy across the entire Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This particular bill, SB Senate Bill 140, is only focused on Philadelphia County. So they specifically is targeting Krasner. I have so many concerns about this issue. So I want to break it down because I know some of you are not like all into the legislative jargon, but this is very important. Basically, what the law says, and I want to tell you what this law says. Let me just, where do I want to go with this? Where I don't get the order. Okay, let me just say this before I tell y'all what it means. So he came to the show Thursday morning at 10 a.m. After that, he did a press conference shortly after, calling for Shapiro to veto it alongside Senator Sharif Street. They urged Shapiro to veto the bill at a news conference. However, by the time Krasner and them got down, Josh Shapiro signed it, y'all. He just signed it. He didn't veto it. It's now law. So let me tell you what the law is now. What this means is that the Attorney General, the AG of Pennsylvania, the state AG, the state Attorney General's office, which was an office that was previously held by Shapiro before he was the governor, will now appoint a special prosecutor to do the investigations at SEPTA. What this now means is that any crimes that happen on SEPTA
Krasner does not have the ability to prosecute. So if there is somebody who shoots somebody, stabs somebody, do anything around the SEPTA stations, which, let me be clear, a lot of crimes do take place around SEPTA, right? Around the SEPTA areas. The DA's office will not no longer in Philadelphia preside over those. It will now go in the hands of the special prosecutor that is appointed by the state attorney general's office. Yes. Now, my lawyer, is always on my ass. He says that I cannot say it's unconstitutional because it's going to get battled in the courts, but I am allowed to say that it is undemocratic. Regardless of how you feel about this, it's undemocratic. It's undemocratic because of the fact that voters voted for this district attorney to prosecute on all levels, which means that includes SEPTA crimes. Now you're just going to walk up and strip away his ability to do that? Now we're just allowing the state to do whatever. So we don't like one elected official. We can take certain powers away from them at the state level. That is a violation. And I find it egregious. And Senator Sharif Street has called it unconstitutional. Krasner has called it unconstitutional. And they plan to take this to the furthest courts. So you might see this in the Supreme Court. This could even get taken up elsewhere. But they're going to sue, and they're going to take this up to the courts, and they're going to continue to fight this issue because it's setting up bad precedents for future elections. But first of all, what annoys me about this is what I'm hearing from close sources is that the current AG, who was appointed by Governor Shapiro after he left, the Attorney General, the interim Attorney General, does not actually, apparently from what I'm hearing from close sources, think this is a good idea. First of all, the AG's office does not have the bandwidth and the resources to take on all of those cases. And quite frankly, I don't think they want to. So for Shapiro to sign this, knowing that he's a lawyer, why would you permit this? Oh, I know why. And here's the tea. Because the tea is here. And we're about to pour it. And we're about to spill it, actually. We don't spill here. We're going to pour it because the spill it means we're going to miss a drop. We're going to pour it in the cup and make sure all of it's there. This was a part of the negotiations between the Democrats and the Republicans in Harrisburg. This budget would have never gotten agreed on if this was not a part of it. This is what the Republicans put on the table. If the Democrats would have had some integrity and said, no, this was not going to get passed, this budget would have still been in limbo. So I think that this was the healthy compromise. They thought, let me clarify, they thought this was a compromise they could. Because let's be real, they don't like Krasner. Josh Shapiro does not like Larry Krasner. When he was the attorney general, tried to find ways to get at Krasner. They don't like each other. And I remember when I was interviewing Krasner on WRD, I said to him specifically, I said, Krasner doesn't, Shapiro doesn't really like you. You think he is going to veto this? And Krasner was kind of like, well, I don't think it's about personalities. He really kind of thought like, look, it's the law. There's just no way he could think this is a good idea. Well, Shapiro just did it anyway. Shapiro is cutting up, y'all. He is unhinged. He is doing whatever he wants. Look, I get it. I have my critiques about Krasner every day. But at the end of the fucking day, he got elected twice. And if the establishment did not like him, they would have ran a credible, viable opponent. Rather than Keir Bradford Gray run for AG, y'all should encourage Keir to run for DA the second time. I really believe in my mind that Keir Bradford Gray should have ran for DA of Philadelphia. She should have ran against Krasner in 2019, and the establishment should have got behind her. Black voters would have got behind her. Krasner would have probably could have lost. I could have saw it. Given the momentum that Keir had that time, all of the buzz, she could have beat Krasner, I think, in the second term. I think that there could have been a fair case for her. But now she's running for AG in a statewide race. And look, I'm not saying she doesn't have a good shot. I just think that it's going to be a harder race. And I think she would have had it more in the bag if she would have run against Krasner while he was tanking in public opinion during that time. But I digress. The Democrats had time to create a plan. The problem that I have with Democrats in Philadelphia and in Pennsylvania overall is that they don't have a succession plan. They never consider a world where these old heads would not be reigning supreme. Like, you gotta have a transition plan. You gotta have a succession plan. You gotta know who's next or get serious about planning for that future. Because if you don't do that, you're fucked. You're fucked. And that's where the Democrats are right now. So that's what happened there. He signed it. But there was other pitiful things that happened. And this is very sad. The University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater, School of Veterinary Medicine, normally receives more than $31 million in state funding each year. And they've been receiving state funding since 1889. Not this year. The Penn Vets funding was the only major subject lawmakers did not tackle. And so we don't know if they're going to get money until March. It's in limbo. Like, nobody cared. They're just going to cut the money. And one of the minority leaders, a Republican in the House, said on the House floor that McGill's resignation was a good first start, but the school will need to rewrite its code of conduct to ensure that anti-Semitism and hate are not permitted on campus before he support funding for the veterinarian school. What? Quote, Cutler said, this is the Republican, Brian Cutler said, hate does not belong here in the Commonwealth that was founded on the principles of religious tolerance and acceptance. It's very interesting that all of a sudden, like Republican leaders, are going to stop funding based on the thought of anti-Semitism happening on the campus. But they've aligned themselves with people that are alongside of white supremacist neo-Nazis and other conservative groups. I mean, Doug Mastriano, hello, this man is running for Senate against Bob Casey, and we're not going to act like this man isn't affiliated with these types of people or haven't been a history of it. But you all are talking about hate does not belong in the Commonwealth. Does hate not belong in the Commonwealth only pertain to anti-Semitism? Because I stand against anti-Semitism, okay? But is that the only hate we're seeing in Pennsylvania? And is that the only time y'all give a fuck about hate, is when it happens in this regard and not anywhere else? And do you not see how Republicans are purposely weaponizing this issue around anti-Semitism to try to further divide the Jewish community from the rest of us? From black and brown people, from queer people, from everybody else. Like, do you not see how they're trying to, this is a divide and conquer routine. This is we're going to align ourselves with Jewish people that we want to conflate our ideology and ideals upon that population of people to then isolate them from every other marginalized community. It's fucked up. And I would love to see our members of the Jewish community, our brothers and sisters who are Jewish, take a strong stand and speak out against the way that this issue has been weaponized by the far right and Republicans on trying to divide us as a community. I've seen people say that. I've seen Jewish people in our community begin to say, you know what, this support by the Republicans is performative and it's not really about us. Because now they're using it as an opportunity to take funding from Penn. So now you're withholding fund from the veterinarian school because of what? Like, are we really going to act like there are problems here? And I'm not saying, let me be clear, that there should not be attention. But all I'm saying is that I just remember that as a black Penn student, as a black queer Penn student, I was told free speech, open dialogue, open discourse. Ernest, shut up about cancel culture. You gotta have different views, education, academic freedom. You can't cancel people. You can't fire people. You can't ruin people's lives over mistakes and different thoughts. You remember those arguments? We gotta hear both sides. Well, you know what's interesting is that Donald fucking Trump, during a white supremacist situation that killed somebody, in Charleston, remember he said they were fine people on both sides? And nobody call for that man's resignation. Just want to keep it consistent. Just want people to recognize what's happening. We're seeing the same conservatives that are now using DEI as a way to act as though DEI is creating an environment that allows for ideologies that are anti-Semitic. Do you see what they're doing? Do you see what the plan is? The plan is weaponize a marginalized group, make them go against others, capitalize off of the scam, and then turn around and fuck everyone off in the end. Because here's the reality. Those DEI programs were created for various marginalized groups, including Jewish communities. You're not going to cut your nose and smile off your face. These are the ways that they pit groups against each other. Because by trying to separate the Jewish community out of the DEI conversation, you're creating a situation where you're putting them on this weird pedestal. And the only way I can figure out what that pedestal could be is this presumption of proximity to whiteness. That they don't see Jewish people as really a minority group, but as white people. And that's very racist because there are Black Jewish people. Okay, let's be very clear. One of my good friends, Michael Twitty, who's an incredible culinary chef, he wrote Kosher Soul, wrote, a lot of great, the Cooking Gene, an incredible book. He is a Black Jewish queer man. And he is disgusted by how his identities are being pitted against each other in this conversation. That yes, there is anti-Semitism, but why are we trying to isolate anti-Semitism in a way that is not a part of the other isms and forms of hate? And so what they're doing is they're weaponizing this controversy to then try to treat the others, right? The otherness, right? Black and brown people, Muslim people, every other group, they're trying to treat them as if they are a hate group rather than a group of people with different ideals. And I've seen that racism for years. Okay, I have talked about it. You're not going to tell me about that issue because I've been to Israel. I was an intern at AIPAC over a decade ago. And before y'all try to tell me about AIPAC, I know all about AIPAC. I wrote about my experience there. You can go Google my name and read the article. I've talked about it. But what I want to bring up is that these conversations and these thoughts have been going on for a long time. History knows that the Jewish community and the Black community specifically have been in solidarity during the Civil Rights Movement. We recognized the collective hate that has happened to us as a people. But what we're seeing right now is a political effort to try to isolate the Jewish community from the rest of the community over this political issue that, quite frankly, is not to be conflated with identity. So now we're making some major assumptions that because there is a pro-Israel political sector, they're trying to act as though Jewish people by faith is automatically in alignment with the political decisions of Israel. And because of that fucked up conflation, now they're going to compile it as a protected class. What are they protecting? Are they interested in protecting Jewish people, or are they interested in protecting Israeli governmental ideologies? And that should not be conflated with Jewish people by default. The same way you can't conflate Black people's politics. Not every Black person is in alignment with the Black Panther or the Nation of Islam. Not every Black Muslim person subscribes to the Nation of Islam's politics or ideals. You cannot do that. That is the problem. We're doing too much discrimination and prejudice, and we're not looking at what unifies us. We're looking at what separates us. And so I'm seeing Republicans in bad faith. If Republicans really cared about Jewish people, why haven't they not condemned these neo-Nazis and all of these white supremacists over the years? Why have they not spoken out against Marjorie Taylor Greene's anti-Semitic ideals? Why haven't they not censored her, right? They censored, one of the members of the squad for saying Palestine from the river to the sea. Okay, but where was the censorship for Marjorie Taylor Greene with all of her conspiracy theories against Jewish people and all of that? Where was those censorships? The anti-Semitism has been there, and people turned a blind eye at these Republicans and let them get away with it. But now all of a sudden, we want to go at Liz McGill. We want to go at all these other people. Shut the fuck up. You know why they didn't care? Because they assumed that the neo-Nazis and white supremacists were only focused on black and brown people. They didn't consider that those are the same people that hate Jewish people as well. Why? I just encourage members of the various communities I know. I just encourage Jewish people in the community not to fall for the evils of the Republican Party. And to the Democrats who want to play into it, the appeal to be moderate, Josh Shapiro, be better. Be better, Josh Shapiro. I am very disappointed with how Josh Shapiro has really been amping up politics. This man will not be the next president of the United States. I know he has political aspirations and presidential aspirations, but if he continues to feed into these divides, it's not going to happen for him. And that's just keeping it 100. So here's the other bullshit that happened. There was a press conference with Josh Shapiro with Meek Mill. And there's a lot of talk about prison reform and giving people chances. But I got to keep it 100 with y'all. That too was a sham. And it's such a sham because the procedures in that clean slate and all these conversations around clean slate was the trade-off. But here's the problem that no one's talking about. And this is some of the stuff that I really cannot take. I really cannot. So the irony is that Meek Mill comes out, gets emotional. He's there with Mike Rubin, who's also rich, a billionaire, of course. You know, Josh Shapiro's patting his back, being all, woke. Joanna McClinton's up there, patting Meek, trying to get camera time. They're over here really, Austin Davis in the back, Lieutenant Governor. They're putting on the show. And Meek Mill's up there talking about, this bill, this probation reform bill. And there have been critics of it that said the irony of that bill, and this is from Robert Salim Holbrook, who is a part of the Abolition Law Center. He said on Twitter, man, the irony of this bill is that it wouldn't have even helped Meek Mill if he was on probation today. And the revisions to the revocation hearings would have made it easier to send him back to prison for the technical violation he was incarcerated on. He understands, though, he got to sell it. There's no progress. That bill is trash. And I'm going to call it 100. Let me tell you what's wrong with it. Let me break it down. This is the Senate bill SB 838. That is a fake probation reform bill, okay? Let me tell you what it would do if it was a real reform. It is probation reform in name only. And this is what the Coalition for Parole Justice said. They said if it was a real reform, it would cap the length of probation terms. It would restrict the ability to imprison people for rule violations. It would automatically end probation early for good behavior. That's what real reform looks like. That's what real change looks like. This is crap. And I think that we need to call it out because there could have been more done, but they didn't want more to come because of what happened. And it's a problem, y'all. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible. So let me tell you who stood up to it. Because we got to shout good behavior. I'm going to name these people who basically voted no. The state reps who voted no against this Senate Bill 838 because they had courage. This is Ariane Abney, Anthony Bellman, Jessica Benham, Heather Boyd, Donna Bullock, Danilo Burgos, Morgan Cephas, Gina Curry, Jason Dawkins, Elizabeth Feldler, Ronnie Green, Joseph Hohenstein, Carol Kazim, Malcolm Kenyatta, Tariq Khan, Emily Kenned, Rick Kaczewski, Latasha Mays, Dan Miller, Dorisha Parker, Lindsey Powell, Christopher Rabb, Abigail Salisbury, Ben Waxman, and Regina Young. Jordan Harris, what's up? Why? Joanna McClinton, why? Why? Why would you support this? You know this is not real. This is fake. There's no clean slate here. This is trash. This is trash. But to these legislators that stood up and did the right thing, thank you. Thank you for having courage. Thank you for having courage. It's a divided house, y'all. It's divided. The Dems are divided. And this is interesting. And we're doing all this before 2024. I don't know how they plan to win. I don't know. I don't know how they plan to win. The Democratic State Committee did endorsements. They did endorsements this week, this weekend actually, and there was some major moments. So for president, they endorsed Joe Biden, of course. U.S. Senator Bob Casey got endorsed. Auditor General, State Representative Malcolm Yada, he finally got the Democratic nomination. He's still running for state rep apparently too, which is interesting. I think they think he has a chance to get Auditor General. It's going to be really interesting because, no shade, the person he beat actually audited before. I don't know how this is going to play. I think he's going to win the primary because he's on the Democratic ticket. But my $1 million question for Malcolm Kenyatta is, you're running for Auditor General. Have you ever done an audit? I mean, he's going against state controllers in states. This black Republican who is the current AG, the current Auditor General, is a black man. And I want to name him so y'all can know who he is. His name is Timothy DeFleur. And Timothy DeFleur has had experience. He is the Commonwealth's 50th Auditor General. He has a background, okay, in doing this type of work. And, he served as the Dauphin County Controller. He also, became the county's first, he worked to create the county's first audit division. He also prepared the first Dauphin County Retirement Fund report. He's a black Republican. He's very popular. He's a part of the Greater Harrisburg area NAACP. He's got a lot of street cred. So, I think it's very telling. It's very telling. So it's very interesting. I mean, I just want to know, the Democrats, I get y'all want to play identity politics, but what is his... I mean, in the press statement, they said this shows that Pennsylvania Democratic Party is embracing younger candidates, diverse candidates, LGBTQ plus candidates. So I think that's the problem. That they're like, okay, I get diversity. I get getting young people. I'm all about that. But my issue is that why can't we... why are we not working hard to get, why are we not working to get more experienced people? No shade, but like, what this is given to me is that Malcolm Kenyatta doesn't know what he can get. And I've heard from sources that pretty much the Dems are just trying to give him something so he can leave them alone. They don't want him to run for Congress, which honestly, I feel like that would have been a better position for him to do. They don't want him to run for Congress, which is very politically, because they don't know when Dwight Evans might step down. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I get that you don't want him to run for Congress, but then why, Auditor General is just a very, Auditor General is just a very selected, is a very selective type of position. That requires a certain type of thinking, personally. I just don't understand why that. I mean, have you ever ran an audit? I mean, that's my $1 million question. Have you ever conducted an audit? And if the answer is no, then what are we doing here, people? But I feel like they're trying to give him this position as a consolation prize. He ran for Senate. He's kind of played the game publicly that the Democratic establishment doesn't want him to advance. He's leaned on his identity and leaned on various aspects of of all of that. And that has played a role. And a lot of that has created a lot of tensions and issues and things. So we'll see. We'll see. I just feel like the identity politics at play is what's causing some of that. And I see that happening very much so. So we'll see. But moving along, I I don't know where to start with this, but Jonathan Majors trial. Any moment now, we'll be hearing a verdict on what's going to happen to Jonathan Majors. It's hard. What is going to happen? I think that's is he going to be found guilty? Is he not? I don't know how we'll go, to be honest. I mean, the videos are very telling. Um, the jury's gonna have to decide, whether or not he assaulted his girlfriend in New York earlier this year. I mean, talk about a person that really fell from grace. But the jury is beginning to deliberate. This started on Thursday, whether he is guilty of assault based on a New York trial. That there's some clashing narratives here. Whether he was the aggressor or the victim during this chaotic struggle with his then girlfriend that happened in the back of the car. Now, the woman he was dating was a white woman who was a 30-year-old British dancer. Her name is, of course, Grace Jabari. That's her name. She said that he struck her on the side of the head of her head, twisted her arm behind her back, and squeezed her finger until it broke during a dispute. It's a very aggressive trigger warning. The closing arguments before Thursday, Jonathan Major's lawyer had pretty much called her a compulsive liar who made up this story of an abusive relationship as revenge after she caught her boyfriend of 2 years texting another woman. People speculate that woman is his current girlfriend, Megan Good, but there's been no confirmation. But what I will say is that they started dating very, very soon after this unfolded. There's been a lot of stuff that's recorded. Basically, her lawyer has said that this is not a revenge plot to ruin the defendant's life or career. What matters is what happened in the car that night. That's what is the dispute. So I don't know, y'all, how it's going to play out. I don't know. Normally I'm good at predicting, but I just feel like there's a lot of, I don't know if maybe because I don't know, maybe is that saying something? Maybe is it reasonable doubt? I mean, I just feel like they had issues in a relationship, but I don't know based off of the evidence. I don't know if the defense provided enough evidence that it cannot be viewed different ways. I don't know. I mean, there's audio recordings of him saying he wants her to be, a Coretta Scott, Michelle Obama, whatever the hell that was about. But when I heard that, again, I don't necessarily know if that automatically means, oh, I'm going to be physically abusive. I don't know if it transfers to that. I don't know. I don't know how the jury is going to decide on it. If it's a hung jury or if they find him guilty. Maybe they do. Maybe they make the conclusion like, hey, this man has some strong abusive traits. I will say that there was a lot of people that came out the woodwork when this happened and started to say they heard this about his temper or this and that. And then none of those things really materialized as much as people thought. And so as a journalist, I will say this. I've been in situations where I've seen a lot of heightened speculation and narratives and things said when people are dealing with their darkest times. There's like a pile on. And sometimes that pile on creates a legitimate ripple effect where victims do come up and really do share stories and there is something there. Let me be clear that is real too. But then there are also those rare occasions where I feel like people just be piling on And a lot of stuff isn't necessarily connected. Well, they'll say, oh, well, I remember one time I went to this event and this person was mean to me. And it's like, well, what does that got to do with this? I mean, it. And we as a society, we love anecdotes, and we do formulate opinions about people based off of anecdotes. And when I think about my own interactions with people, I could see narratives constructed based off of anecdotes. Yeah, there have been times where I've snapped at people and I was like, this some bullshit. But did you know why I said it was some bullshit? Did you ask me why I snapped? Did you ask me why I said no? Because context is crucial. And so sometimes I've learned, as somebody who has been in the public eye, not to be quick to let people tell. Because there are people who have told stories about me. I can't tell you how many times people have misled folks about me based off of fucked up interpretation. Like they'll say, oh, well, there was, I mean, he doesn't really talk to me. What is the reason why I don't talk to you? I do want to say names. I do want to say names. I do want to say names, but I'm too good for that. I'm gonna talk about one particular person, and this is higher level shit. So at Comcast, and let me be very clear, I love Delilah Scott Wilson. So I am not talking about Delilah Scott Wilson. Let me be very clear. She's a great woman. I'm a big, huge fan. Like, she's a great woman. I'm not talking about her. There is a woman, though, who works there. She's been working there for a long time. She is on an exec level. She's fairly youngish. I'm really cool with her brother-in-law. So y'all know who I'm talking about. If you know who I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about, because they have the same last name. I am good friends with her brother-in-law, and she works for Comcast, and she's public facing. A lot of people know her. She's Black, and I'm not gonna say the name. So see how I did that? So if you know, you're gonna be like, yep, I know who he's talking about. Cool. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. Let me tell you about this situation. She has told people in circles that I know, oh, he acts funny around me. I don't know why he doesn't like me. Or, he's just, every time he sees me, he doesn't really say hi. He seems really mean. You know why I don't talk to you. And I'm going to tell everybody why I don't talk to you. Because I'm tired of, sometimes you get tired of a narrative. You see how people like to pass stuff around, but they never put things in full context? Let me tell you exactly what happened. And there's somebody else listening to this podcast that knows this situation, because I had to make a phone call when it all went down. So let me back this up. Y'all remember when I was banned temporarily from the Comcast Center Technology? And this was like back in 2019, when I had the facial expression and had the meme. Like I had the facial expression based on the debate with Kenny. And I had that meme that y'all all love and y'all all laugh about and share. Well, there was a consequence for that meme. And let me be clear, it wasn't out of my control. The camera people at the time that was filming that debate between Kenny, Anthony Williams, and Buckovitz, they did not move the camera. The camera was stuck in position, and they never moved the camera frame. So basically, it kept being stuck on my background facial expressions, and people created memes based on my facial expressions, and it became viral. And they were annoyed about it, yada, yada, yada. Comcast people were. Well, she worked for Comcast, and at the time she was in this position where she was like overseeing like I guess they were calling it campus or like town halls or shit. And so before this situation, she was always nice to me. She always, was cool. It was always cool. So when all that went down, I got banned from the building. That was what was said by a person who no longer works at that building. But I had to make some phone calls and be like, so we out here banning people for facial expression? Like, y'all really want this? Is this real? And the messed up part about her was that we were in conversation to try to create an event for PABJ. We were going to have the PABJ. We were thinking about having the PABJ gala in that building that year. That was the plan. And what ended up happening is that she knew I was banned. She didn't call me. She didn't give me the common courtesy to say, hey, what was going on? She just let it happen. And she was cool. We were cool. We're cool. So
It just, and so then, even worse, she coordinates a meeting with somebody who, ooh, I'm telling spilling the tea, but I'm going, it is what it is. She contacts a certain general manager who is at NBC 10. She sits and has a table. They have a meeting. She sets it up where they were supposed to talk. This involved one of my friends who worked there for the time. He doesn't work there anymore, but he did. And they were trying to force me to give an apology and in many ways gravel at their feet based on the situation. Of course, I wasn't going to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong. And I didn't understand what the apology was about and why was this being held outside of me. But it was very fucked up. It was very gatekeeper. It was very much so intimidation. It made my friend feel like they were being dragged in a situation that had nothing to do with them, which it did not. And they really was trying to really intimidate the situation regarding me. I never apologized because I did not do anything wrong. And it was not my era. It was the era of them who decided, number one, not to tell us to turn our cell phones off. Because if I would have got to look at my cell phone, I would have been able to be like, oh shit, they could see me on camera. Nobody came up to me and actually said anything to me at the time. The camera is the issue was on their era. They should have been able to get their camera to work. And so what is going on here? But at the end of the day, I saw my own people. Because let me be clear, the people involved in this situation were all Black. I just want the record to show that. It be your own people. Everybody involved, from the general manager to the other person that was in that position to my friend, everybody involved in that situation were Black. And I just think it's so fucked up that our people do this shit where they get so hyped. They want these fucking positions. They like to be the only ones in the room. They like to act like they don't know why these things are happening. And they get these positions and then they look at other Black people and treat them like shit. I promised myself that as I got in my career and advanced as a Black person, I was never going to leave the community behind. I was never going to be a person that was a gatekeeper. I never wanted to be that person. I never wanted to be a person that was just going to always, like, I don't like that. I just, no. No. And so I lost a lot of respect for that woman who I'm discussing. And now she sees me at events. And initially, she didn't talk to me, like, we didn't see each other for a while. And then she just thought she could start saying hi. I'm like, I looked at her, I'd be like I look at her like she's saying a foreign, she's speaking a different language that I can't interpret. I'm like, she says hi. I'm looking like, what? Like I just cannot fathom the reality of somebody who. What I will say is there are a lot of Black people in leadership positions in this city that is doing more harmful things to impede upon Black progress and success in this city. It is our own. Some of them are our own. It is white supremacy. And white supremacy drives them to do that because they're in this scarcity mindset where they only want to be the only ones and they want to gatekeep anybody that they feel like intimidates them and it hurts them. This is the year where I understood my power and my influence. This is the year where I fully embraced it. Like every previous year, I feel like I was always trying to keep in consideration how other people was going to receive me and if I was overpowering and dominant. And this is the year I became a top. No, I'm joking. But no, well, mentally. No, this is the year I just learned to just, like, I can't change who I am. I can't help who I am. I'm not ashamed of who I am. I know my influence. I know I'm that bitch. And I'm not going to let anyone make me feel any different. And so if that means that if I walk in and you feel less of yourself, I don't know what to tell you. Pipe the fuck up because I'm not about to reduce myself anymore. It's too much going on in this world to be sitting around here always considering the optics. Fuck optics. You could be sitting down by yourself not saying nothing and the optics of that will cause a problem. Fuck optics. People need to be considering the optics of how they engage with me. How about that? Why do I always have to be the one considering the optics of everybody else's shit? Sometimes it's we're at a point where we got to recognize personal problems that people have, insecurities that people have with themselves cannot impede upon my shit. Don't kill my vibe. And I think that's what we need to be at now. And so until there's an apology, until there is some real, mature, sincere acknowledgement of wrongdoing, I'm not about to sit up here and act like we cool. I'm not even going to give you the comfort. Okay? I'm not even going to give you the comfort to think that we are good. No, no. And that's the problem. We got to stop acquiescing to fuck shit. I'm not saying that you can't get over it. I am over it. But I'm definitely not under it. No, I'm joking. I am over it, okay? But what I'm not is I'm not somebody that's being, see, we gotta talk about being over things. I am not bitter. I am not resentful for what happened. What I am is somebody that recognizes I'm not making that same mistake again. And I'm not gonna let you get comfortable enough to fuck with me again. See, that's what it is. See, we think that forgiving people means forgetting things. I forgive her for her sins. Every sinner deserves forgiveness. But I don't forget what she's done. And I'm not in a position to want to bang with her again. Just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to be friends with them again. I forgive a lot of my haters because they can't help themselves. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up and, be, distraught and hurt and sad and or feel like, okay, now that we said sorry, we could go back to normal. Nah, nah. You stay where you at. We gotta start leaning into stay where you at in 2024. We gotta start telling people, stay where you at. You good over there. I'm good over here. Sometimes peace is separation. Sometimes separation is peace. Back the fuck up. Maybe backing the fuck up is peace. We ever consider that? Peace is relative. Everybody think peace means everybody loving each other, hugging on each other. No, peace just means can be silence. That's peaceful to me. I think people confuse peace and harmony. I think people think that harmony is peace. Harmony is not necessarily peace. And that's okay. That's okay. Everything is not harmonious. And everything does not require harmony in order for it to be successful. If I can put two people in two separate places and they cannot fuck with each other and they can go off and live their best lives independently, that's peace. Like for me, peace is the fact that right now you got some old heads that want to create their own Black journalism organization and it's flopping as we speak. And they want to be able to do that and they want to be a part of the anti-Ernest society. That's fine. Be that. Do what you do, but wash my shoes. Just keep my name out your mouth. Just stop lying and just go live your best life. That's peace. We can have that. So to that person, that's just it. Shout out to Michael Numius. I like him so much. He's such a nice person. Michael Numius is such a cool person. I just want to say that just randomly. Just came to my mind. Okay, moving along. No, really rap, he's cool. I just don't think that his sister-in-law is. Anyway, I couldn't help myself, y'all. I'm sorry. So Jonathan Majors, that trial's happening. We're gonna find out the verdict. I'm biting my nails. We're gonna see what's gonna happen. Moving along. Christian Keys. Okay, the streets have been talking. Everybody's asking what I think about this Christian Keys situation. The Christian Keys situation, for those who don't know, he's an actor. He detailed being sexually harassed by a very powerful person in Hollywood who is a man. He does not disclose who the man is, but gets in graphic detail about this experience. He says he doesn't, he said that he let the statute of limitations conclude. He doesn't want any money. He waited for the statute of limitations to expire before he told his truth. because he's not trying to sue for money. He doesn't want to do that. But he says he does not mind cooperating with the authorities to provide this information because he's not in any interest of getting any money. He wants to make it very clear. Everyone wants to know who it is. He has not disclosed. There has been speculation of a certain man in Hollywood. I'm not going to say the person's name because again, it's speculative, and I want to, this person is very powerful. They got money, and I ain't earned. Listen, lawyer says, listen. You go on Twitter. There's people being named. I am not putting no speculation behind who the person is. Streets are talking. We're going to find out who's being accused. And once that person is accused formally, we might discuss it. People have referenced a Boondocks episode in which this person particularly was speculated. Look, my thing with these things, someone said online, and this was interesting, they said the word rage baiting. I never heard of rage baiting before, but apparently rage baiting is when people like tease out the irony. When people tease out things without getting into detail, they say names and leave it on the playground. Oh Lord, look the irony. Is this podcast nothing but rage baiting? I wonder. But listen, people can tell their story however they want to tell it to a certain degree. It's your choice to be enraged or not. How about that? But anywho, they're saying they want to know names. Listen, Christian, however you want to tell this, tell it. But listen, no more dropping hints and clues. At this point, you done laid it out. Either we gonna hear something at this point or not. But you told it. But at this point, no more dropping crumbs and breadcrumbs. Like at this point, we want you to get justice, and we want justice for you. You are a victim of something that has happened to you that is horrible, and I think people want to know who we gotta betray, who we gotta stop supporting. Because I don't want to support anybody that is doing this type of shit. So whoever it is, let the people know so we can divest and we can cancel. Period. I think that's fair. So, Oprah. Now, let me tell y'all this about my good Judy Oprah. This week, people been seeing Oprah on the red carpet. She been killing it for The Color Purple, all these television interviews. Oprah looking good. Okay, Oprah looking good. And when I mean looking good, I'm not talking about her being skinnier. I'm talking about just her confidence, her radiance. I was talking to a friend of mine who said, I feel like I should be looking at Oprah in this way. I said, sir, listen, women at all ages can be gorgeous. Oprah is just, there's a glow, there's a vibrancy in her. She is so hyped about this movie. Oprah in purple is just everything. That is her color. I'm like, oh my goodness, how much purple can a woman wear? Whew, she looks good. But she came out and said that she's been taking weight loss medication and she's tired of the shame. She says her entire life she's been losing weight. She's been on this battle for decades. And Oprah, I always used to say I have the Oprah body where it yo-yos. Sometimes I get on the pluser side. Sometimes I'm on the thinner side, but I yo-yo like Oprah. But Oprah just came out and said, look, I am using weight loss medication. And apparently she's using Ozempic, right? She's using Ozempic, which has been a lot of celebrities are using it. There's been a lot of debate and debacle. Of course, my favorite televised contrarian, Piers Morgan, had me on his show again. Another month, another Piers Morgan interview. So I was on there debating with Piers Morgan about, Oprah's weight loss, which to my point was like, why are men spending time on their show talking about weight loss? They want to call her a hypocrite because of Weight Watchers. They want to call her all these things. Listen. She's evolved on her thinking about it. And fat shaming in America and society is real. A lot of people are put in positions where they're told, if they get weight loss medication, they're cheating. They need to do it the natural way. They got to go to the gym. And Oprah drank a lot of that type of rhetoric and said that rhetoric, because that was the time we were in. But Oprah has evolved as a person, and we all should commend people for evolving their thinking. I think we're at the point as a society that we're realizing more and more that, look, as long as people are healthy, whatever choices they choose to make with their body for them is their choice. We just want people to be healthy, want people to be safe, and we want to give people agency. And so this is the choice that she's choosing to do. And it's not our opinion to say whether she's cheating or not. That is her and her fucking body. And she looks good, she feels good. I feel like her confidence and her visibleness has been wild, right? But that's just her. And everybody will do it differently. Some people will only want to do it eating fruits and vegetables. Some people want to go vegan. Some people want to run and jog. Mr. Johnson loves to get up at 4 a.m. and go jogging. Mr. Owens, myself, does not.
The only thing I'm running to is to the fridge. No, I'm joking. I everybody has their own. Look, the only thing I run into is to the bank and to the fridge, and to get and to also shop. Or I'm also running in people's minds. Where else do I run to? I do run to Kills, especially because they had that recent 40% off sale. I used to run to Aldo. Mm, random. So I don't, like I said, I feel like it's all what people want to do. People choose how they want to do with their bodies. Let them live. That's all I have on that. So this week's Ask Ernest, I don't listen. Like I feel like I'm a relationship, guru. You all have been sending me like the most heartfelt things, and listen, there's a lot of different messages I get, but I get caught up in the relationship ones for some reason. But I just love them, so I'm gonna read this one. This came in earlier this week. Let me pull it up on my IG DMs. Here it goes. Hey Ernest, I hope all is well. You've been looking good lately. Well, thank you. By the way, this person is queer, so just full context. But so they said you've been looking good lately. I see you in the face. The face is facing. It is. The face card never declines. Want to reach out to you about something important. Please do not use my name in all caps. We don't use names. As you know, Ask Ernest, we do not use names. Just want to remind you, we never use names. Okay, here it goes. So this holiday break, I think my boyfriend of 11 years is going to pop the question. Ooh. Okay, I see this. Let me see. We have been on again, off again, but I feel like the last 2 years, things have begun to become more steady. I love them, but I don't want to say yes, even though they've attempted to propose to me multiple times throughout the years. See, this is what the gays do. I'm gay, so I can say this. We love a butch queen. We love a good engagement. The gays love to get engaged. Now, this is the part of the conversation for 5 seconds where I'm going to tell all the straight people listening to shut up and mind your business. You can listen to this, but don't I don't care what you think about this particular moment, what I'm about to say. I'm about to put the embargo right now. What I'm about to say right now, I'm going to let you know when the embargo is lifted. So this is the embargo. I'm about to say this. The straights, y'all can listen, but you're in no position to judge because y'all do some shit too. And y'all need to mind y'all business. But since this podcast does not discriminate, here we go. Okay, embargo on. So let me tell you something. The gays, we love to do an engagement. We love engagements. Like the girls love to go up and get a ring on, take a picture, be like, oh, we engaged. And I swear to God, I know more engaged gays than married gays because they be engaged and then the engagement falls. Somebody throws the ring out. Somebody do whatever. But they love to propose. They love to go to pride festivals and parades. How many of them have actually went through and got married? Ask yourself that question. And this is to my gays. How many people you know in your circle that's been engaged, but when it was all said and done, the engagement was off? Now, let me just say this. I appreciate us for calling off engagements because we ain't with the shit. Now, the straights, they'll get in a marriage knowing goddamn well they not happy. And they know goddamn well that shit wasn't right. But they'll do it because they scared because the patriarchy ain't shit. But we don't got those problems. So you know what? I thought I was going to shade us. But then again, I'm happy because so many motherfucking straights get married on a regular basis and hate the person, know they don't want to be with them, and will not say no. So you know what? Maybe this ain't a bad thing. Embargo off. Okay, the embargo's off. Now, this is what we back in conversation. Now, let me get into this. Let me finish the rest of this letter. Now that the embargo has been off, I just want to take a moment to just have these thoughts. So back to the letter. Okay. We have been steady for 2 years. I really like them, but this has been a big, difficult time for me. I feel like they're going to propose to me around Christmas. I really don't know if I should say yes. What made you say yes to your engagement, and how did your marriage turn out to be great?
I kind of want to say yes, but I also feel like I shouldn't because there's a lot of other issues in our relationship that has not been addressed, and I don't feel comfortable fully committing until certain issues are addressed. What should I do? You already answered your question, person. Um, you've already answered your question, but I hear you, and I want to take this moment. I feel like a lot of times in relationships, and I've had these conversations with family and other folks about engagements and things. Let me be clear. Marriage is something that two people have to be fully interested in doing and passionate about. An engagement should be a time of celebration and joy. It should be something that you're enthusiastic about. It should be something that you want to do. Both of y'all should be enthusiastic. Both of y'all should be ready to do it. Both of y'all should be happy and joyful about it. It should not be stressful. It should not be annoying. It should not feel obligatory. It should not feel like a burden. Like, let's be very clear. It should not be questionable. It should not be well, I don't really know. So. There should be really no ambiguity on the decision to get married. Okay? Now, ambiguity might come in planning a wedding, like that's life, but the actual decision to do it should not be confusing. It should not be conflicted. It should not be any of those fucking things. And that's just the way that I was taught. When Mr. Johnson proposed to me, which will be, oh my goodness, that will be 4 years on December 24th. New Year's Eve, which would also mark, wow, this will be 2012 was when I came out. It's 2023. This will mark the 11th anniversary of me coming out. But that will mark the 4th anniversary of our proposal. So we've been in engagement marriage mode for about 4 years. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. But when he proposed to me 4 years ago, nearly 4 years ago, there was no question in my mind at all. Like, I didn't have no question of like, is this person the one? Is this person someone I want to be with? Do I want to be the rest of my life with this man? I had no reservations. I had no doubts. I didn't have any fear. There was no reservations. There were no, I guess I got to do it. It was a very, yes, do it right now. I want it now kind of thing. Just saying. Whatever those reservations that you have, you need to get ahead of it. You need to speak on it. You need to speak on this before the engagement. You need to be clear on what you need to change before the engagement. Because what you don't want, because my question is, if you do get proposed to again, and you say no, do you think this person is going to leave you? And if the answer is yes, then you need to get ahead of that. Like, you need to have these conversations and not sit on your hands and be passive aggressive. This is your life we're talking about. This is a very serious situation. Marriage is a serious thing. It's not for the meek. It's not. And the reality is that it doesn't have to be stressful. Like, I don't have a stressful marriage. I'm very happy. I mean, everything is solid. The sex is solid. It's phenomenal. I'm talking too much. Anyway, I'm dating, eating, love, care, benefits, spending money. All of it's great. I'm really happy to be married. I just can't even see myself being single again. I see how bad it is in these streets. All my friends are telling me, man, it's rough out here in these streets. I can't wait to get like you. Thank you. Like, we're all into marriage. I feel like in our 30s, because we're in our 30s now, all of my friends, I think all of my major friends are in their 30s. Yeah. We're all like in this space of like, either we want to be married or we're in a position of talking about long-term relationships, or we're trying to have something serious. I think we're so over. My brain cells shrink when I hear the stories of my homegirls dealing with childish ass dudes in their 30s. That shit was cute at 22.
It wasn't really cute then, but that shit was cute in 22. But in your 30s, nobody playing these fucking tag games on the fucking phone. I'm gonna see your message. I'm gonna slide in your DMs. I'm gonna ghost you. Like that shit old. Like we grown now. Like that ghosting, all that funny shit. Leave that shit in your 20s. If you're dealing with a dude that don't know what he want and can't say what he want and can't articulate what he want, you shouldn't be dealing with him. I'm aggressive. We at a time where name what you want to do. You want a relationship, you try to have something serious, you just trying to fuck, just let people know. Like let people know what you're trying to do. And you know what? We grown up to accept rejection. Y'all, listen, let me get in the straights real quick. Y'all scared of fucking rejection. Y'all scared of somebody telling y'all they don't want to talk to you no more. Well, fuck it. Get on something else. Or get on yourself. Play with yourself. I don't know. But this whole, like, I don't know. I have found myself increasingly annoyed hearing the kinds of ridiculous shit that dudes be doing on the phone with girls. Like, from getting a new girlfriend and make a girl jealous to beating girls up at places. And I don't know. I just feel like at this age that we're in, to my core audience, which I would arguably say are millennials, but we got some Gen Zers, we definitely got some Gen Xers, and some maybe a couple boomers too. But like the days of playing phone tag, doing tit for tat situationships, I just feel like that shit old. That shit played out. We too grown. Life is too short. If you don't know what you want to do, go do that with somebody else. I just don't want to hear it. If you're past 30, like my brother, like my younger brother, he's 20. He's got a girlfriend. He's been with her for now a year. He don't even seem like he want to play games like that. I'm proud of him. He was raised well. But like I hear some of these stories by folks in their 30s talking about what should I do? I text this boy, he ain't texting me. Child, that's what we did in our 20s. We ain't doing it in our fucking 30s. That shit is not cool. That shit is boring. That shit is corny. That shit is for the birds. Like if you dealing with situations like that with dudes, just be like, you know what? I just need a dude that know what he want to do. Or a girl. It go both ways. Girls be playing on phones. Listen, I'm trying to have a good time. If you trying to do something serious, that's not me right now, and I don't want to waste your time. Or look, I'm trying to have a girlfriend. I'm trying to do something serious. If you're not trying to do that, that's okay. We don't got to play these games. But it's like, say what you want. This is the era of people saying what they want and facing the realities of it. If the person says no, at least you save 2 years or 2 months of stress. So what I'm saying in this situation, if you don't want to be engaged, just tell this man you don't want to be engaged. And love him and tell him what you want, right? If you do want to be engaged with him, but you have these hangups, then get some fucking courage and just say, you know what? I want to be with you, but you got to do these things and we got to work on this. And if we can't come to an agreement on that, then we can't move forward. Accept that and get the fucking professional help or stress release you fucking need. But we cannot keep wasting people's time. Everybody needs to stop wasting people's time in 2023, 2024, 2025, and beyond. Like, we just gotta stop. Just wanted to put that out there. So I guess my answer to you is, I see you, I hear you, you deserve, but at the same time, don't waste his time, don't waste your time. Face the inevitable. If you get rejected, if this person wants to make this their ultimatum, then so be it. But at the end of the day, at least you kept it 100. That's my advice. So movies this week. There has been some interesting things going on. Let me just start by saying that Leave the World Behind movie y'all wanted me to watch on Netflix, hated it. I wasn't really crazy about it. You know what annoyed me about that film was that I didn't really find many of the main characters delightful. I understood what they were trying to do. There were some high points in the film. I don't want to give it away, but there was a lot of moments when I just was like, okay. And that ending, I didn't need that. I just didn't need it. I wasn't crazy about it. And it was a Netflix movie. I mean, Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali. I mean, stellar cast, I suppose. I don't know. I just was not. I wasn't. No.
I mean, if you're bored and there's like, you know, watched every movie under the sun and you just need to watch something, you could watch it, but I wouldn't jump to it immediately, personally. Want to just randomly shout out Fantasia. Fantasia's been killing it on the runway. The Color Purple promotions have been epic. Everyone's been talking about this film, but Fantasia's looks on the red carpet, every appearance she's made, she has not missed. Whoever her designer is loves her, and their chemistry and their collaboration has been the fashion run she has had this season is unprecedented. I have never seen a celebrity just hit every single fucking look that good in a long time. I mean, she's been on it's been a run. Her glow up, her comeback, Fantasia Barrino Taylor. Okay, Mrs. Taylor, these looks that she's been bringing, oh, everything. And she's taking risks. She's taking it, honey. She's just taking it, honey. I mean, she's taking the risk. She's having fun. The colors, the looks, the make. I mean, she's just been looking good. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up Fantasia and what she's been wearing on red carpets and just look it up on Google. Like, Google her looks. I mean, she's just been slaying it. Just want to give a shout out to her. I just had to just shout this out. Golden Globe nominations happened. Barbie had lots of love. Oppenheimer had lots of love. We knew that was going to happen. There were some surprises. That happened at the Golden Globes. There were some interesting snubs too, TV and movies. Lots of people had some reactions. So some of the biggest snubs and surprises that I noticed, Joaquin Phoenix got nominated for Beau is Afraid. I didn't see that happening. Dominique Fishback and Swarm got snubbed. The Color Purple got snubbed for Best Comedy and Musical, even though it did get nominated for Best Actress for Fantasia. She's officially a Golden Globe nominated actress. And of course, the incomparable Danielle Brooks got nominated for Best Supporting Actress as well. Gary Oldman got nominated for Slow Horses in the TV show category. Viola Davis got snubbed for Air for Best Supporting Actress, which I really did enjoy her in that, and I thought she was good. Harrison Ford was snubbed for TV. People really thought he was going to do good, but he didn't. Sofia Coppola and Priscilla, which has been getting a lot of buzz, she got snubbed for Best Director. There was no love for Reservation Dogs, which was very interesting. And, people thought that Beef was going to, get snubbed because of all the drama, but it did pretty well. There was just a lot of interesting categories. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, got nominated for some interesting category, which they called it Cinematic and Box Office Achievement category. And so she got nominated alongside some other films like the Super Mario Brothers, Spider-Man Across the Universe, John Wick, Oppenheimer, and Barbie, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Well, let me see. I'm sorry. Dead Reckoning happened. It was a very weird category. Wonka got snubbed for, which people thought was shocking, that musicals were not nominated in the musical comedy category. Taraji P. Henson, people thought that her role as Shug Avery was going to get nominated, but she got snubbed for Best Supporting Actress, but Danielle Brooks did. It was very interesting. People thought that Theater Camp was going to get some love, but that didn't happen. Selena Gomez got nominated for Only Murders in the Building, alongside Meryl Streep, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actress, which was kind of interesting. Sheryl Lee Ralph and Janelle James got snubbed for Abbott Elementary, but Abbott Elementary was interesting because there's been a lot of conversations about that show. Janelle James, who I'm obsessed with, she said some really weird things on a comedy special about her son and penises that were really weird. They're accusing the actor, what's his name? The two actors. It's Jesse James Williams and Lisa. I'm trying to remember her name. But she, the cast got nominated. So Tyler James Williams, who plays Gregory Eddy, they're accusing him of being a Zionist, and Lisa Ann Walter, who plays Melissa, Melissa Schmidtler, I forget how they pronounce her last name, but they are saying and she's from Silver Spring, Maryland, but they're saying she's an outright Zionist, which I was shocked to hear this. But this is speculation on social media. Um, it's very, it's interesting. Her name is Melissa Schmincy is the character. Her character is on Abbott Elementary. They're saying the two of them are pro-Israel, and people want to cancel them for that. And then people talk about Janelle James's comedy special that she makes that a tasteless joke about her son and things that they thought was creepy. But it's a lot going on over there. But interesting enough. Domingo Coleman got nominated for Best Actor for Rustin, which I'm happy about. Maestro with Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan, both of them got leading actor nominations alongside Leonardo DiCaprio and Lily Gladstone for Killers of the Flower Moon. That got nominated, of course. Maestro comes out on Netflix later this week. I'm super excited to see that film. I think it comes out this upcoming Wednesday, but that should be really good. And they're saying that, he could win Best Actor. Best Actor they're saying that people are predicting that Bradley Cooper can finally win a Best Actor Oscar. Now, he's being nominated for Best Director as well, just like he did with A Star is Born. But people are suggesting that this could be the film, he got the nose, people criticize the nose, but the nose, the acting, the performance, who knows? I mean, it's looking like it might be Bradley Cooper's time. I don't know who would challenge him. I don't know who's the actor to beat because it's not Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't see it for him. I keep hearing about the film American Fiction, which has been getting some buzz too. People really do like Jeffrey Wright's character, but I don't know who's going to pull it off with the Best Actor win. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, we'll see. So that's cool. But I want to talk about something that's not cool. So there was a trailer that came out about this film that I thought was going to be super dope. And that film is called The American Society of Magical Negroes. Now, the original trailer that came out a while ago, the hint was that we thought it was going to be this film of like all these quote unquote American, these black magical folks that had all this magic and all this talent, and that they were basically superheroes that were going to do some work around race, and it was going to be a satire, and it was going to be all this great stuff. Well, unfortunately, the film trailer comes out, and it's nothing like what we thought. The center of the protagonist is a racially mixed black actor. He's very racially ambiguous, very light skinned, and he's in the pursuit to try to make white people comfortable. And so the magical powers of the American Society of Magical Negroes, they're trying to give him these special powers to be able to be comfortable around white people or make white people comfortable. I'm not feeling this. And as you can hear, I'm having a hard time talking and describing this because I'm just so I'm just so disgusted by this premise. But the magical powers are being used to make white people comfortable. And therefore he's in a pursuit to date as this light-skinned mixed black actor. He is in a pursuit of dating a white girl. And he has these powers and he's trying to yield them and focus on falling in love with her. Okay. Why is this film called The American Society of Magical Negroes? They're saying it's a satirical comedy about a young man who is recruited into a secret society of magical black people. And I'm just kind of like, they dedicate their lives to a cause of utmost importance, which is making white people's lives easier. I'm not feeling this. I don't understand why whiteness is censored in what could be. First of all, the use of Negroes in this way
the trope of magical Negroes, I get the satire, but it's going to fall under people's head, giving the racial dynamics of the lead actor and the love interest, which kind of makes and defeats the satire. Hollywood, that's all I'm going to say. Those are all the things I want to say on this show. These are the kind of conversations that I enjoyed having with my friends, where it was just a very different conversation. I'm just going to keep it clean. I'm not a fan. I'm not watching it. I think the trailer's corny. It's cringy. And it's not the film that we all thought it was going to be. I think we all thought it was going to be like a Harry Potter with black actors doing cool things for the culture, in the world. And now it just seems like the whole script has been rewritten and it's just kind of cringy. So, not a fan. Boo, boring. All right, moving on. Projections are in. Nicki Minaj's latest album, Pink Friday 2, is going to be number 1 on Billboard. How many sales the album is going to have has been up in the air. Nicki has put out, once again, speculation that Billboard, the industry, is trying to stifle her growth, allegedly taking away 100,000 unit sales because she demanded her fans take a picture of them purchasing copies. And apparently that violates Billboard's metric. I don't know. It's all hog and dosh pot. I just can't wait to see these numbers. Some people think it's going to do over 200,000. Some people think it's going to be under 150,000. We'll see. But to be honest, I'll say I listened to the album, and I told you all last week that it was all right. It's not bad. It's all right. Problem I have with it, though, is just that it just seems like Nicki cannot stop having conversations about Cardi. Like, she has an album rollout right now, and she's spending so much energy throwing shots at, Cardi, her situation. Like, leave that. Like, can we get, why? Like, I read a really great critique in The Atlantic about Nicki and hip-hop's aging problem. Hip-hop is turning 50 years old, and it's a very youngish genre of music, to be honest. But the biggest issue with the genre is that since 1973, it's never been able to mature and evolve. Like, we don't have a growing up, like, okay, at what point do rappers age out of rapping or eventually evolve in their subject matter and the way they talk about issues? It just seems like it's become a young man's sport, which it could still be a young person's sport, honestly. But the problem is that the artists that do stay on for so many years, what does it look like to see that person age, but also their views stay the same as it's always been? There's no self-reflection, no editing and evolution. To Jay-Z's credit, for better or for worse, Jay-Z has seemed to grow up with the music. His life isn't what it used to be, so therefore he doesn't rap the way he used to rap. But the music has been, for the most part, quality. I see that with Kendrick, arguably J. Cole. But with Nicki, it's the same types of raps, the same kind of conversations. And, at some point she does take moments of reference the fact that she's a mother now, which is a good moment and is a beautiful baby. And we hope that she parents well and continue to do her thing. But lyrically, she's still fighting and throwing shots at younger women artists. She's still getting to petty feuds on social media, and it's taking up the attention from what should be a very, notable rollout, especially within media, for her album, and she's just not doing it. So that's a missed opportunity. But it is what it is, right? As far as TV goes, I watched the Crown finale. It's out for those who observe. The Crown is now available to watch. What a season. The final season. It ends on a very optimistic note. If you did not like the first half of season 6, the finale wraps it up pretty well. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but what I will say is, by the way, no, the show does not get to the end of Queen Elizabeth's death. It does not get into the Harry and Meghan Markle stuff, but it does touch on Kate Middleton and William and Harry a little bit. You start to see some evolution in their personalities as they get older on the show. That is the highlight. Princess Diana's funeral, the dramatics, the aftermath of the consequences of that, and Camilla. They talk about a lot of those things, and that's Juicy TV. I found it to be very enriching and just a very what a really great way of ending what was a television dynasty for so many years. So, yeah. But what I'm super excited about is starting in January, early January, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is coming back. I remember I was saying to y'all the other day, I was like, where is Love and Hip Hop Atlanta? They just put out a trailer. The cast is back, but the new cast that got me excited, Saucy Santana is going to be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now, he made a cameo on Miami, Love and Hip Hop Miami. But now he is on Atlanta, and I'm super excited about this new cast. There are some recurring actors and people coming back. Bambi's working on healing. I'm curious to see how the show evolves. They've been entertaining Lil Scrappy and Erica and what's going on with their relationship dynamics. There's a lot to explore. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of missed this show because, I'm on my little Zeus sabbatical right now because Zeus is making me upset. Some of the antics that's going on over there, I'm just pushing pause. But I am missing Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I cannot wait for it to come back in January. So that's it for this show. Next week is the season 5 finale. Okay, the final episode before I'm on winter break. Because I'm going to take my winter break. I love to take my break. And when I'll be back? I'll be back because I'm going to pull out my calendar, let y'all know when I'm coming back. Because y'all will be like, where's the other episode? So we're going to be back on December 25th is Christmas. So the episode, this finale is going to I'm going to air it on Christmas. And actually, I'm going to probably tell you all what I got everybody for Christmas on that episode because maybe not. I don't know because we won't be back because I won't be back. I will not be doing an episode for January 1st. That's New Year's Day. There will be no January 1st episode. We will not be back on until Sunday. We'll record Sunday. Monday, January 8th is when we'll be back after next week's episode. So there'll be like a 2-week hiatus, a break. Because, I want to rest. I want to enjoy my family. I'm looking forward to being able to record in January, but I'm taking this holiday sabbatical. So the finale will run on Christmas Day. I know some of y'all going to be enjoying the holidays. Some of y'all don't celebrate Christmas. Some of y'all are going to eat Chinese on Christmas Day. Because, listen, everybody's not Christian. Everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas. So, some of y'all, this might be the great opportunity to catch up on episodes and eat Chinese and watch good movies and have a Jewish, Christmas. Or for my people that are Muslim that are observing or getting ready for Kwanzaa. This will be a good Kwanzaa kickoff. But this will be the final episode of 2023, next week's episode. So, stay tuned for that. And what else? What else is going on? That episode for sure. And I'm thinking about something else. Oh yeah. And, until then, send me messages. If there's Ask Ernest questions that you all have. I know the holidays are coming up. The finale is going to be epic. So there's going to be a lot of year in review, lots of things to get ready for on that front. But as always, be well and be best.
Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.